of Fortune, number 10 in the Major Arcana, is probably the most understated card in the deck. After all, a wheel is a wheel, right? It has become such a mundane part of our existence. Bicycles, cars, gambling tables. We see wheels everywhere we look on daily basis. And yet, this is a truly mystical and powerful part of the Major Arcana that requires a deeper understanding in order to truly get its place and significance in any tarot reading. In any tarot reading, the first thing the wheel conjures up is an old King Solomon's parable. In it, the wise king asked his servants to go on search for something that will make him smile when he is sad and make him cry when he is happy. And after a long search, an old servant finally presents King Solomon with just that, a ring engraved with the following: "This too shall pass." And thus the wheel reminds us that no matter how high we climb, eventually we will fall. No matter how low we fell, we will rise again. The Wheel of Fortune is the wheel of karma, but it's not a wheel of chance or accidents. There are no accidents in the universe, which is one of the key lessons of this card. When we examine the astrological connection, the Wheel of Fortune is ruled by Jupiter, the largest planet symbolizing growth, expansion, luck, and enthusiasm. Even Jupiter's glyph looks like the lucky number 21, as well as the number 4, which sounds like fortune. The planet especially symbolizes growth on a philosophical level. As you will see in this Kabbalistic connection, it represents the process of expanding your worldview through travel to distant places, friendships with foreign people, and higher education. In many decks, the wheel has 12 spokes, representing the 12 signs of the zodiac. As you spin the wheel, counterclockwise, by the way, according to the zodiac, the signs will come up and go. The seasons will make their brief appearances and flee. And so it is with life. When we examine the Kabbalistic meaning of the wheel, we need to dive even deeper. Most decks will contain the 3 alchemical symbols embedded in the wheel: Mercury, sulfur, and salt. Mercury is attributed to the Sephirah Keter, salt is Chokhmah, and sulfur is Binah. These are the 3 principles of nature and are related to the 3 maternal Sephirot that make up the super consciousness. Perhaps the best explanation of the state becomes clear when we look at the figure of the Sphinx, often represented in the wheel card. In ancient Egypt, the Sphinx was originally a portrait of a pharaoh. It symbolized his great power in the lion's body over adversaries. Eventually, the Greeks, who adapted the Sphinx image, transformed the face to become female, while still resting on a male body. Thus, the Sphinx came to represent not only man with raw power of animal kingdom, but also balance of male and female in the same form. Probably the most important role of the Sphinx is played out in the myth of Oedipus on the road to Thebes. Oedipus is blocked entry by a Sphinx who asks each traveler to decipher a riddle. What walks on 4 legs in the morning, 2 legs at noon, and 3 legs in the evening? All who failed to answer the question were destroyed. Only Oedipus answers it correctly. It is man himself who crawls in childhood, walks on 2 legs in adulthood, and uses a cane in his old age. The result, Oedipus' correct answer, has the Sphinx throw himself into the sea, an action saturated with meaning for the students of the Kabbalah. The Sphinx is thus a cardinal symbol of manifestation. It is both through him which one passes in birth or death, and that which controls the passage. It is the keeper of the gate, proclaiming eternal truth: man, know thyself. If one does, he's able to pass through the gate of consciousness. When the Sphinx throws himself into the sea, he is absorbed back into the great sea of consciousness. the Kabbalistic sea of consciousness. The gate is now open and it's no longer needed. To be more accurate, it is absorbed back into the individual higher consciousness which created it. On the other hand, the Sphinx destroys those who are not ready to pass beyond the restrictions of time and space. It is an act of protection of the personality by the higher self, which may also be considered the real death process. Those who know the nature of the Sphinx may pass consciously from one state to the next, while others fall into deep sleep, a destruction of awareness from which the soul gradually awakes into a new state. So what does all that mean? Well, it means while all these explanations of the Wheel of Fortune card may seem disparate, they all command the same thing. Man, know thyself. It is that lesson which the wheel teaches us. It becomes extremely important as we consider karma, passing of seasons, and our personal ups and downs. When we examine the wheel on the Kabbalistic tree of life, we see that it's a path of kuf. It is the path that takes us from netzach, which is victory, to chesed, which is mercy. And it is yet another reiteration of this too shall pass, meaning you see victory today, you may not see it tomorrow. So be magnanimous in your victories. Have mercy for those over whom you are victorious, because tomorrow the roles will be reversed. Helping move cycles along is the element of the wheel, and that is fire. It is very dynamic, it is very quick, and it's very passionate. There's no slacking, there's no resting with the element of fire. It keeps you going, it keeps you lit, and it keeps you dynamic.